Well, this is one of the reasons why it's so important to garner the services of somebody like you very early on in the process so you can help guide those E2 investors in the best way to set themselves up for success and approval of that E2 visa. Tell our listeners a little bit about your services as the E2 visa attorney.
I'd be happy to. So my services are A to Z to make sure everything's done the right way, the optimal way to maximize my client chances of E2 visa success. So I usually like to guide the clients from very beginning before they've done anything, including advising on the ideal business models, how to properly select a business for the E2 visa, whether it's buying a resale or a new territory or business startup, and then guiding them on proper source of funds and how to set up the business and deploy that investment money, spending it in a qualifying way for the E2 visa. So there's a lot of guidance on the business investment, business setup, business acquisition, business structure side. And then once that's accomplished, I would prepare the E2 investor visa application and submit it on behalf of my clients to the U.S. immigration authorities as their legal representative. And if they're applying for the E2 visa with the U.S. embassy in their home country, there will be a visa interview. And I also prepare clients for that interview, usually through like an online video call where I prepare them for the common interview questions so they can go into that interview with the visa officer and give a confident and thorough and complete answers to the officer's concerns and questions.
Well, and I think that's a critical point. I worked with a candidate in the last year who she did employ the services of a different E2 investor visa attorney from her home country, but she didn't prep for the interview and she didn't pass the interview. And so she had to go through another waiting period of time before she could reapply and have that second interview. So it's important to prep and know what to expect during that interview process.
Absolutely, very important.
So what role does a franchise consultant play in helping your E2 investor visa clients find a great business?
A franchise consultant is an important partner in helping my E2 visa clients achieve success in getting that visa approval. Especially a franchise consultant that has gone through the E2 visa training and understand the needs of the E2 visa candidate. So franchise consultants that I work with have received that training and also most importantly have access to what we call E2 friendly brands. That way the consultant is able to narrow down the search in the most optimal brands for E2 visa qualification and minimize time waste with brands or business model that are not ideal for E2 visa. We usually want the consultants I work with would focus on those E2 friendly brands and help negotiate the E2, the franchise agreement and the terms. And a very popular term that most of my clients would like to add to the franchise agreement is an E2 visa contingency clause. Which is that in the event the E2 visa is not approved for whatever reason, the E2 investor has the option of terminating the agreement and recovering some of the franchise fee, and that mitigates their financial risk. Now, the reality is that if E2 investor does everything right, at least in my more than 2 decades of experience, the odds of getting E2 visa approval has been very, very high. So the odds of needing to exercise that visa contingency clause is pretty low in my experience, at least. Even if the visa is not approved, E2 visa allows you to reapply immediately as long as you can satisfy the reason for the prior visa denial. But psychologically, it really helps E2 investors feel safer and mitigate their financial risk to have that visa contingency clause. And franchise consultants that understand this are able to propose this to the franchisor or make connection with E2 friendly franchise brand that accepts that. And that makes it a lot smoother and maximizes the probability of closing the deal.